leaders of the Greeks at Troy. Here you are at last. Here the sight your heart so longed to see. Below us there, the ancient Argive plains you so often dreamed of. And there, the grove where Io, the river god's daughter Inachus, poor child, was stung to madness. And there, Orestes sea, the Lycaon of Apollo, wolf-killing god, and now a marketplace. And there to the left, the temple of Hera famed throughout the land. But here we have come to now. Here you see Mycenae radiant with gold. Here the bloodstained palace of ancient Pelops, so often touched by crime. It was from there your father murdered. I carried you away, charged by your sister, to save your life, to raise you to manhood, to avenge your slaughtered father. But now Orestes, and you, faithful Pallades, must make your decisions quickly. The sun's bright glare already rouses the morning song of birds, and the night stars fade with the dawning day. No delay now. Time has come for action.
Dear old friend, who could doubt your loyalty? It's quite the same with the noble horse, a thoroughbred. Old as he is, like you, he thrives on danger, pricking up his ears, urging us on, always the first to follow us into action. All right then, here's my plan. Now, pay keen attention, and if I miss a mark, I want correction. When I went to the god's oracle at Delphi to learn how to avenge my father's murder, Apollo gave me this advice. Go alone, unaided by arms or soldiers, and snatch by stealth the lawful vengeance that is yours. This is what he said, the god's words. Now, our plan, old friend, is for you to enter the palace at the first chance, learn all there is to know, then come back and bring us word. Don't worry, they will not recognize you after all these years. Especially now that your hair's gone gray, they won't suspect. Here's your story. Tell them you're from Phocis, a stranger here sent from their greatest ally, Venotius. Swear an oath that Orestes was thrown from his chariot and killed in the Pythian Games. Orestes is dead. Have you got that? And while you're busy with that, the ladies and I will visit my father's tomb to pour libations and leave a lock of hair as the god requires. When we come back, we'll break the bronzer we hid in the bushes earlier and trick them with the happy tale of my death and my body's ashes resting in that jar. No harm to that, not as long as my death is only a tale and I'm alive and safe and out to win vengeance for my father in my own glory. What harm can words do if I can profit from them? I've heard how clever men have played at death, only to return home again, alive, in higher esteem than ever. From this I conclude my rumored death. I will rise from the gloom, a radiant star to dazzle my enemies. Land of my father's Argos, and you, my country's God, bless my journey here in his mission. House of my fathers, I have come with the gods calling to purify your halls. Do not turn me away, dishonored, out of this land, for I bring you back your greatness and reclaim my ancestral right. Enough of words. You know your task, old friend. The ladies and I will leave here now. The time is right, and time well chosen dictates all success.
Orestes, listen. Inside the palace, an unhappy slave girl, most likely.
Is it Elektra? Poor creature, shall we stay and listen?
No, Apollo first. Libations at your father's tomb puts victory in our grasp.
How many laments, how many wild blows to my bleeding breast have you witnessed when night's dark gloom recedes? How many nights has my hated bed borne my despair in this house? Keening dirges for father, not slaughtered in battle by Ares on foreign shores, but felled like an oak by my mother and her bedmate Anchises, like woodcutters. Head cleft with an axe, murderous blow upon blow. Where are the laments? Where are the sounds of sorrowing in this house for you, father? None to lament the dishonor. None to keen the disgrace of a death so cruel, so piteous. None. Only mine. Mine. As long as stars tremble in glory, as long as light dogs into day, that long will the agony of my pain, like the nightingale torn from her young, here at my father's door, wail my sorrows and loss for all the world to hear. House of the god of death and Persephone, Chthonian Hermes, holy curse, Furies, dread daughters, Erinyes, who see and curse the wasters of life in violence, who see and curse the polluters of beds. Come, oh come and lend your aid. Gods, avenge our father's murderer. Send him to me, gods, my brother. Gone. My burden bows me. Grief defeats me. I am nothing alone.
Oh, child Elektra, daughter of a wretched mother, why are you always lamenting for a father dead so long?
For Agamemnon, godlessly snared by your mother's net of deceit, delivered to death by her evil.
I pray to see the end of him who dares such deed be evil, if I may pray such a prayer.
Noble fathers, your kindness touches my heart. You come to console my distress. But I will not end my mourning. I will not leave undone the task of lamenting my father. Women, you whose love matches mine in every mood, leave me my grief, I beg of you.
No degree of sorrow, no level of lamentation will raise your loved father from the lake of the dead, into which all descend.
Forever breaking the bounds of measure. This way knows no deliverance from evil.
Why is your heart set on sorrow?
Who's the child that turns memory away from a parent's piteous death? Dearer to my heart is the mourner forever lamenting for Idas. Idas bird maddened with grief, messenger of Zeus. And you, Niobe, you who mourn eternally in your rocky tomb, you are blessed.
You are not the only one, child, that great sorrow has visited.
Your grief is far greater than any other of your kin. Your own sisters, Sodomus and Iphianassa.
And Orestes, whose fortunate youth is nurtured far from this terrible sorrow.
Whom one day famed Mycene will welcome to his father's throne as savior.
If Zeus will be kind.
And I wait with longing. Childless, unwed. Tearful eyes, I endure the suffering that never ends. No end to evil. He has forgotten all he endured, all he was taught. What word have I had? What news has he said? What word that does not mock the result? He yearns to come, or so he says, yet never comes.
Child, have faith.
Zeus is powerful.
He sees all, he governs all.
Leave your bitter quarrel to him.
Remember your foes. Don't be destroyed by too much wrath.
Time is a kindly God, a God who brings relief.
Neither he who dwells in Crissa, the shore where cattle graze,
Agamemnon's son, nor the god of Acheron's waters, is heedless to time's resolution.
Oh, no, most of my life has passed me by without hope. I have no strength left. Wasting away without children. No loving husband to protect me. But like some honorless alien, I serve in my father's chambers daily. These ugly rags, standing at a bare table.
The cry heard at your father's return was piteous.
Hideous too was the cry when he saw, lying on the couch, the blade of the brazen axe sink swiftly to his skull and murder his deadly flight.
Guile led the way, lechery did the deed.
Together they birthed a dreadful shame, dreadful whether of man or God. The bitterness of that day. Bitterest of all the days I have known. That night, unspeakable banquet of horror and shame. The dreadful death my father tasted at the hands of those two. The hands that took my life captive. Treasonous hands. My life in ruins. God, in your greatness, Olympian God, give them suffering to match their deed. Give them no joy in the splendors they've won.
Say no more, child.
Think of the miseries your actions have brought you.
Your long suffering is weighted by forever breeding war in your soul.
You cannot fight such battles with powerful princes.
I was forced to it. Forced by terrible events. I know my passion, I know it well. With such deeds of horror around me, I refuse to curb this passionate frenzy while life is in me. Oh, friends, who that thinks right could ever believe their words of comfort to soothe me? Give up your mission, dearest comforters. I know no comfort. My ills are cureless. My sorrows endless. My complaints uncountable.
I speak of love, like a faithful mother.
You mustn't add to her miseries, child.
What is the measure for my misery? Is it honorable to neglect the dead? Was such impiety ever born in man? If so, I'll never seek his respect. Never. Ever comfort comes, I will never live at ease by restraining the wings of shrill lamentation to my father's shame. For if he who lies in earth is nothing, mere dust, wretched man, and those who slew him know no justice, death for death. Where then is piety? Where is shame? Dead, vanished, gone, gone from the earth.
Dear Elektra, I came with as much concern for you as for myself. But if there is no way to help, then have your own way. I'll stand by you.
Friends, dear friends, it shames me if you think I mourn too much. If I am too impatient with my endless tears and complaints, forgive me. What can I do? But how could any woman of noble birth do otherwise if she saw wrongs committed day and night against her father's memory? Yes, as I see them here, wrongs that grow incessantly. First, my mother. The mother who gave me birth, I find in her the deepest cause for hatred. And then I live in my own home with them. My father's murderers, king and queen now. Subject to them, my rulers. For them to decide what to give and what to withhold. What do you think my days are like? Watching a Jesus, sitting on my father's throne, wearing my father's robes, pouring libations at the same hearth where he slew him. And the gravest outrage of all, seeing him him, my father's butcher, lounging in his bed, my father's bed, with the wretch that is my mother, if mother I may call her, his lover, his. So hardened now, she cohabits with that polluter, fearing no avenging furies. No, she laughs, she gloats, she chooses that day she murdered him with treachery, to celebrate with dancing and hymns and monthly ritual sacrifice of cattle to the gods that saved her skin. And what of me? What am I to do but mourn my loss with miserable tears when I see that abomination of a feast named for my father's death? Forced to grieve not as my heart would wish, but in seclusion. For this woman, known to all as Majesty, berates me with evil insults. Impious, hateful creature, she screams. Are you the only daughter who ever lost a father? Are there no other mourners in the world? Damn your life! May the gods below give you no end of weeping. These are her insults. Except when there are rumors Orestes is coming, then she comes to me raging, I owe this to you! You who stole Orestes out of my arms, took him off in secret to save him from danger. Yes, and I'll see you pay the penalty in full. These are the barks she makes. Her mother bitch yapping away, while her noble bridegrooms dance by, urging her on in the same tune. Jesus, this coward, this plague, this warrior who fights his battles from underneath a woman's skirt. And I wait here always for Orestes coming. Orestes who will free us of these miseries. But little by little my life here rots away. He's always coming, always about to do something. What hopes I cherished, all are frazzled away. This is no time, my friends, for moderation. No time for piety. Surrounded by evil. Evil is all I can do.
Where is Aegisthus? Here or away?
Away, of course, in the country. If he were near, I would have kept inside.
I'll speak freely then.
Yes? Say what you like.
It's your brother Orestes. We were wondering, is he coming or isn't he?
He promises yes, but never arrives.
A terrible task. Any man would hesitate.
I didn't hesitate when I saved him.
His is a noble nature. He'll come.
Without that hope, I'd have died long ago.
Say no more. Here's your sister Chrysothomis with offerings to the dead below.
Sister, what are you doing outside of the palace? Why must you always speak where all Argos can hear? Haven't you learned in all this time not to give way to this useless display of anger? I share your grief, you know that. If I had the strength, I would have made it clear exactly what I think of it, but I do not dare. In times like these, it's best to bend to the storm, rather than seem to be doing it but have no power. I advise you to do the same. And yet the weight of justice is on your side, not on mine. But if I'm to live free, then I must bow to those in power.
How can you, the daughter of Agamemnon, forget him and put your mother first? All these lectures you throw at me are hers, not yours. You have to choose, Chrysothomis. Choose whether to be correct, a fool like me, or to be mistaken and betray those you love best. You said just now that if you had the strength, that if you dared, you'd show just how much you hate them. And yet when I give my all to avenge my father, you do nothing. You struggle to drive me off course. Why add to your disgrace by being a coward? Tell me then, or no, let me tell you. How would I profit by giving up my mourning? Do I not live? Yes, miserably I know, but well enough for me. When I vex them, that honors the dead. If indeed the dead know anything of pleasure in their world. But you who hate them, or so you say, hate only in words, while indeed you are on their side, the side of your father's butchers. I would never. After all the privileges they've given you that you so pride yourself in, never yield to them. Have all the well-spread tables and luxury you want. All I want for myself is peace of mind. I don't choose to enjoy the honors you, nor would you, were you wise. You may have called yourself Agamemnon's daughter, daughter of the noblest of fathers, but you choose to be called your mother's daughter, daughter of Clytemnestra, known to most as the vile traitor to your dead father and your loved ones.
No, my dears, don't quarrel. What good can come of it? There's good in both your arguments. Learn from each other.
I know all of her arguments by now. I had never brought this up if I hadn't heard of some dreadful disaster coming to end her complaints.
Dreadful disaster? Tell me. If it's any worse than what I suffer now, I'll say no more.
I'll tell you all I know. They've said that either you stop this public mourning, or they'll send you to a place beyond the border where you can wail your griefs in a living grave and never see daylight again. Listen to me, please, Elektra. Be sensible while there's still time. And don't be blaming me when it's too late.
Aha, so that's what they plan.
Yes, when Aegisthus returns.
Then let him hurry back.
Poor Elektra, what are you saying?
That he should come quickly if he'll do what you say.
So you can suffer? Have you lost your senses?
Yes, to escape from all of you.
Are you so eager to give up your life?
My wonderful miracle of a life!
It could be if you use some sense.
Don't teach me to betray my loved ones.
I'm not, only to yield to power.
Yield all you want, not me.
There's no honor in being destroyed by folly.
If I fall, I'll fall, honoring my father.
My father won't blame me, he'll understand.
Only cowards think such thoughts.
You refuse to listen. Refuse my advice.
Yes, I'm not that foolish yet.
Yes, all right then, I'll go.
To do what? What offerings are these?
Libations for father's grave from mother.
Libations to the man she hated?
To the man she killed is what you mean.
Whose idea was this? Who persuaded her?
It was a nightmare that terrorized her.
Gods of my father, stand by me at last!
You're saying her fear gives you hope?
Tell me her dream, then I'll answer.
What can I say? I know so little.
Tell what you know. A single word seals a man's fate.
All I know is that she saw my father, our father, come back to life and stand in front of her holding the scepter that once was his but now Aegisthus holds. He planted it beside the hearth. And that scepter sprouted upward into a leafy bough that shaded all of Mycenae. I heard it from a slave who was at her side when she told the dream to the sun. That's all I know. Except that she sends me because she's terrified. The gods of our house, Elektra, listen to me, please. Don't destroy yourself by being foolish. Refuse, and you'll be needing my help later when things get worse.
Sister, these gifts must never touch his tomb. No law, divine or human, allows such offerings to my dead father. Not from his hating wife, his enemy wife. Scatter them to the winds. Bury them deep in the earth where none of them will ever come near his tomb. That way when she dies, she'll find them stored up below to remind her of what she did. She's hard, our mother. Hardest of women. Who else could have sent these offerings to pour over the tomb of the man she killed? How could he welcome gifts from someone who treated his corpse as an enemy, without honor, mutilating him, and then wipe the blood stains off in his hair? Do you think these gifts absolve her of the murder? No! Throw them out! Now! Take him an offering from your hand. And lock them in the fridge. There. And for mine. Mine is so plain and dull. And take this too. This belt. This plain cloth belt. And fall to your knees. And pray him to come in kindness from deep in the earth. Pray that Orestes comes to fight his foes and set his foot in victory on our enemies' heads. Then we will deck his tomb with gifts far richer than these. Evo, I believe it was he who sent this dream to terrify that woman. Do this for me, sister. Dear sister, do it. For your sake and for mine. And for his dearest of men in the world below.
What she says, my dear, is said from the heart. Be wise, do as she says.
I will. Yes, at once. I have a duty that cannot be argued, but you must help with your silence, friends. Mother hears on the Presbyterian action.
I am not deceived. My mind, maddened with prophecy, then failing in wisdom and justice, who presages the coming event will appear, bearing in her hands the righteous triumph of revenge.
My heart rises in courage. New hope wakes in my breast when I hear the word of the dream that comforts. He hasn't forgotten you, child, the hero who led the Hellenes, king of the Greeks, your father.
Nor has the axe forgotten, forged in bronze double-edged, made to slay him in an act of foul cruelty.
Many-footed, many-handed, out of ambush, Erides will come.
Erides, never tired of her dread pursuit, marching like a host of brazen-footed warriors.
Wicked, wicked their ruinous lust that led to an illicit bed. Evil, accursed liaison, blood-stained marriage.
And so, I know the dark night's portent cannot come to them without great misery. Doers of the deed, partners in crime. Man will know no danger of evil dreams and oracles if this night's dark vision finds no fulfillment in its wake.
O chariot race of Pelops in days long gone, how heavy the disaster you have brought this land.
From the day when Myrtilus plunged into the sea, hurled to his destruction from the golden chariot, this house has known no freedom, none from misery and violence.
Loose again, are you? Prowling the grounds with impunity while Aegisthus is out of the palace? At least he kept you from ranging beyond the gates, disgracing your family in public. And now that he's gone, you ignore me? I who, according to you, oh, you've spread it around far and wide, am an arrogant, ruthless tyrant who abuses you. Insolent, you call me. No, I merely return in kind the evil taunts you always level against me. Your father, and this is your pretext, never off it, was killed by me. Oh, and how right you are. I glory in it. Justice at my side. Justice hand in mind brought down the axe. And you, if you knew where your duty lay, would have helped. This father you're always moaning and groaning over, alone among the Greeks, was brute enough to sacrifice your sister to the gods. This father who knew nothing of the pangs I suffered in giving her birth. Tell me this. Why did he sacrifice her? Who is he trying to please? The Greeks, you'll say. But what right had they to slay my child? Or was it for his brother, Menelaus? For his sake my child died? If so, then justice demands he pay the price. And Menelaus, what of his two children? Shouldn't they have been first in line for sacrifice, considering their mother and father were the cause that sent the Greeks to set their sails for Troy? Or had the god of death a taste more suited to my offspring than hers? dead child if she could speak. What I have done was done without regret. But if you call me evil, first make certain your own judgment is sound before you condemn. This time it's not for you to say I started it. No provocation on my part for your words. Allow me to speak, and I will lay out the truth as it concerns my dead father and my sister.
Say it. You have my permission. If you had always addressed me in that tone, I'd not have been pained.
Well then, I'll speak. You killed my father, you say? What word could bring you greater shame than that, whether you did it justly or unjustly? I maintain that your deed was not just, that you were seduced to it by the wooing of the evil man whose bed you now share. Ask goddess Artemis what sin she punished when she held back the frequent winds at Aulis. Or no, better yet, I'll tell you. It isn't right we learn from her. As I hear it, my father one day, hunting in the goddess's sacred preserve, startled with his footstep an antlered stag. He shot it, and then boasted at the kill, angering the goddess daughter of Late, who in turn stayed the winds at Aulis, detaining the Greeks, and demanding in balance the sacrifice of his own daughter for the slaughtered beast. And so it happened. No other solution forthcoming, the Greeks could sail neither homeward nor to Ilion without a wind. And he had no easy time of it, struggling with himself. And so he killed her. And not for Menelaus. And even if he had, and here I plead your own argument, sought to aid his brother, does that justify his murder at your hands? By what law? Take care in setting out such laws for men. You may be showing pain and repentance for yourself. If blood could pay for blood, you'd be the first to pay the price. Justice had her say. But consider now. Isn't this pose of yours without foundation? Tell me you are not committing the most shameful of acts, cohabiting with him whose hands are blood-stained with my father's murder, with whom you first laid plans to kill my father, and breed with him children you cherish more than the lawful children you bore in lawful marriage, whom now you cast off from your love. How is this just? Or is it, as you will say, still revenge for your daughter? For if so, what you are doing is shameful. One doesn't marry the enemy for the sake of a daughter. Where's honor in that? But I haven't even the right to rebuke you. You'd shriek, I'm reviling my mother. Mother? You're no mother. You're a jailer who makes my life wretched with all the miseries you cast at me. You and your bedmate in crime. And then there's the other, who escaped by the skin of his teeth. Wretched Orestes, whose life wears away in misery and exile. You have often charged that I reared him to avenge your crime, and I would have too. Believe me, I would, if I had had the power. For that matter, denounce me all you like. Evil, call me. Insolent. Impudent. If I have any natural skill in these arts, at least I don't shame the mother who gave me birth.
She's furious. Too furious to know whether what she says makes sense.
Oh, but I know. Why should I care for the creature? Insulting her mother at her age? She'll stop at nothing. Nothing. She has no shame.
Shame. Oh, I have shame. Whatever you choose to think. I know I'm insolent. I know my behavior does me no credit. But your hatred of me, treatment force me to act as I do.
Ugly acts engender ugly acts. I learned that from you.
Shameless, impudent creature. Oh, how right you are. You talk entirely too much of what I do and say.
No, Mother, your actions speak for themselves.
By Artemis, I swear you will pay for your insolence when Aegisthus returns.
There, you see. You tell me to have my say, and when I do, you're outraged and refuse to listen.
Give me some peace, won't you? Allow me to sacrifice. I let you say freely what you had to say.
Make your sacrifice. My lips won't be to blame. I'll say no more.
Slave, bring the offerings to Lord Apollo. I will pray and ask him to free me from these fears. Apollo, protector, hear and answer my prayers. I am not among friends and cannot speak my heart. Cannot speak freely the secrets that lie there. Not while she is here, whose malicious tongue would wag with vicious rumors my thoughts through all the city. Hear me as I would be heard. The dreams I dreamt last night, Lycaean king, if good, turn them to my advantage. If bad, turn them against my enemies. If there are those who plot to cast me out of my high estate and wealth, frustrate their schemes. Let me live as I live now, ruling the house of the Atreidae and the throne, spending happy days with friends I have, and those of my children who do not hate and resent me. Apollo Lycaeus, be gracious. Hear my prayers. Grant them to us all, even as we ask. And for all I do not say, I know you know. For the children of Zeus see all things.
Ladies, excuse me. I'm a stranger here. I'm looking for the palace of King Aegisthus.
You found it then, sir. This is it. You guessed right.
And the lady there, is that his wife? She has a queenly bearing.
Right again, sir. You're in her presence.
Greetings, royal lady. I bring news for you in Aegisthus. News that should please you, from a friend.
A welcome omen, then. I accept. Who is this friend?
Phenotius of Focus. And news that concerns you deeply.
A good friend, yes. What is it? Coming from him, it must be good.
Orestes is dead. That's it.
Oh, God. Orestes? Oh, God, I can't bear this! Again! Again! Ignore her again!
He's dead. Orestes is dead.
Oh, God! God, kill me too! You mind your business! All right, sir, the truth now. How did he die?
Yes, my lady. It's why I was sent. I will tell you. Tell you all. He made his way to Delphi to enter the games that are the most highly praised in all of Hellas. When he heard the herald call runners to the foot race, the first event scheduled, he strode onto the field, his gleaming body the joy of all who saw him, and finished the course in form to find his looks, winning the victor's prize. After that, well, to cut it short, there wasn't a man to match him in achievement. He bore away every prize in every foot race, and the crowd went wild with cheers each time his name was called. Orestes of Argos, son of Agamemnon, son of the great general who commanded Greece. So far, so good. But when a god does mischief, not even beauty or strength can save a man. The day finally arrived for the chariot race, a fast event that he and many others entered at sunrise. 10 in all on the list. Taking the place assigned to them by lot, the race began at the blast of a bronze trumpet, each man shouting at his horses, shaking the reins, as the entire course roared with the rattle of cars. As dust rose up in clouds, drivers raced in confusion, spared no goads to push their steeds beyond the axle. Their horses snorting in front of their own. both their backs and wheels below were flecked with the foaming breath of the snorting teams. Driving near the pill at each turn, Orestes lightly grazed the wheel of his chariot, loosening the reins on his chased horse to his right, checking the inner horse. But all at once the Aenian's colts bolted, swerving aside as they passed on from the 6th to 7th lap, and plunged headlong into the Barcadian's car. In quick succession, team after team crashed and overran each other, till the plain of Crissa was a mass wreck of chariots. The clever Athenian saw the danger coming. He pulled his team aside, reining them in, allowing the confusion of chariots mid-course to pass him by. Orestes came up last, holding his horses in check, trusting his team for the finish. But at the final turn, he loosed the reins on the left and unaware struck the pillar's edge, breaking into the axle, falling headlong from the chariot, over the rail, tangled in the reins. And as he fell, the colt bolted madly to the center of the course. When the crowd saw he had fallen from his chariot, the cry of pity went up for the beautiful youth. They seen carry off so many triumphs, come to so terrible an end. Dragged along, his body smashed to the ground, then tossed in the air, till charioteers halted his horses and freed him. So covered in blood, none of his friends recognized the pitiful mangled corpse. They burned it thin, the body on a pyre without delay, and chose the men of focus of carrying here the dust of his mighty form in a small bronze urn for burial in his father's land. Here's my story. The story as painful to tell as one ever was, but for us who saw it, the most dreadful disaster our eyes had ever seen.
Our royal palace, our ancient masters destroyed, root and branch.
God. What is this news, good or terrible? It sets me free, my good is served, but it is bitter to preserve my own life when my own loss is the price for living.
Why does this news distress you, lady?
There's a strange power in motherhood. No wrong can make a mother hate her child.
Then my journey was wasted then.
Wasted? No, not wasted. How wasted? You brought me proof of my son's death. Clear proof, my son, my own son, born of my body, who tore himself from my breast and his mother's nurture to become an exile, a stranger in a foreign land. From that day to this he never saw me, but held me guilty for the murder of his father, swearing vengeance that robbed me of my sleep. Night and day, no shelter of sweet peace. From moment to moment I lived in fear of death. And now today I'm free. Free of my fear of her, and of him, and mostly of her, who lived beneath my roof. The greater evil draining my life's blood. From this time on I can live my life in peace, free from her threats.
Oh, Orestes. To suffer, to die as you did, and now to have your mother mock you for all your miseries. Are you content?
No, not with you. But where he is, there is content.
To a divine vengeance, hear what she says of the man just dead.
She heard what she should have heard and acted well.
Saltus, yes. Enjoy your victory.
Will you and Orestes put a stop to
It
this?
is we who are stopped. How could we stop you?
Well, your journey here, my friend, deserves a reward. You stopped her yappings.
I have no more to say. May I go?
Go, certainly not. Your welcome then would be unworthy of me and of him who sent you into the palace. Come. And as for her, leave her here to yowl laments for herself and her loved ones.
shedding tears of anguish for a son whose death report you heard. No, back to slaving for those I most despise. Those who slew my father. Can I live with this? No! I will never again enter that house to live where they live. I will lie here by the gates until my life withers away. If anyone inside there is angry, let them kill me. Death is a grace. Life is grief. Why should I want to live?
Zeus! Zeus! Where are your thunderbolts? Where is the all-seeing sun? How can you see and hide this? How can you hold your peace? Why are you weeping, child? Don't cry so!
You're destroying me!
But how?
By planting hope where hope is dead. They're dead. Dead. Why beat me down?
The king of Fairyas died for a chain of gold caught in a wife's net, and now he sits beneath the earth, and he reigns among the dead.
No! No!
Yes, for she who killed
Was killed!
Yes.
I know. I know what champion came to avenge the dead. For me there is no one. He who was is torn from me.
misery strikes hard on misery.
I know. I know all too well. Torrent of horrors, dread, dark. What else is my life? Month after month, never an end.
I see your pain. I understand.
Don't deceive me or lead me astray. Where?
What are you saying?
Where there is no hope for help from a brother. Son of my father, no hope. No hope.
All men must die.
To die as he did, wretched Orestes. Dragged along in a whirl of hooves, his body cut by tangled reins.
A cruel death, too terrible to think of.
I know, in a foreign land without my touch.
Dear sister, dear Elektra, I'm so happy. I ran all the way, never thinking how it might look. I have news for you, news, wonderful news, an end to your suffering.
Where would you find an end to my suffering? My suffering has no cure.
He's here. Orestes is here, as surely as I stand in front of you.
Oh, girl, have you lost your mind? Laughing at your own sorrows and mine.
I'm not mocking. He's here, I swear by Father's hearth. He's here with us now, among us now.
Who told you this? And you believed him.
I know what I saw in my own eyes. I've seen all the proof I need.
Proof? What proof? What set you into this feverish whirl?
Elektra, listen, please. When you've heard, then tell me I'm insane.
Tell me if it gives you pleasure.
I'll tell you all I saw. When I reached Father's grave with the offerings I brought, I saw it running with a newly poured milk gift. And flowers, fresh cut flowers of all kinds circling the tomb. Amazed, I looked around for someone nearby, but everything was still. So I crept to the tomb, and there on its edge, I saw a lock of newly cut hair. And all at once my mind flooded with thoughts of him, of Orestes, dearest of men. For I knew that there on that stone lay a token of him. I took it in my hands, unable to speak, tears flooding my eyes. For I knew then, as I know now, that only you or I could have done such a thing. And I know it wasn't you, forbidden as you are from leaving the house, even to worship the gods except at your peril. And I know it wasn't I, nor was it Mother. She doesn't like such things. It could have never happened without our knowing. It could have only been Orestes. Be brave, my dear. No one's life is fixed by unchanging fortune. And ours has seen bad days, but Perhaps today will lead to a better life.
What a fool you are.
I pity you.
What are you saying, Elektra? How can this not please you?
You know nothing. You're lost in some dream world.
Dream world? I know what I saw.
He's dead, poor girl. Orestes is dead. Your hopes in that deliverer are dashed. No use looking to him for help.
Who told you such a thing?
Man. The man who was there when he died.
I don't believe it. Where is he? Where?
Inside the palace. A welcome guest for our mother.
No, but the offerings on the grave, where did they come from?
From someone to honor Orestes' death.
God, will this never end? I ran here bursting with joy at my news, only to find new sorrows.
Now you understand. Just do as I say and we can lighten this load of sorrows.
Bring the dead back to life? How is that possible?
It's not what I said. I'm not a fool.
If I have the strength, I'll do it.
And have the courage to do as I say.
I'll do anything I can to help.
Just be prepared for a hard fight.
I'll do all I can.
All right, then, here's my plan. As you know, we haven't a friend left here. None to stand by to help us. Everyone dead. As long as I knew Orestes was still alive, I cherished the hope that he would return to Argos to avenge our father's murder. But now Orestes is dead. I now turn to you for help, Chrysothemis. To help your sister slay our father's murderer. To slay Aegisthus. And for more secrets. What must it take? What? To make you act before you stop doing nothing. Hope is dead. What hope can you still plead? All that's left is grief for a lost treasure. Grief for years wasted without a husband. No marriage, no bridal songs, nor any prospect ever to get these things. Aegisthus is no fool. You imagine he'd ever let children of yours or mine go to strength and threaten his precious safety. But do as I say. Give the thanks of the dead below the earth. Our father and brother, you'll be free. Free as you once were born, free to marry nobly. But you see, you win respect for yourself. For me, if only you'll do as I say. What citizen of Argos, what stranger will not see us and greet us with words of praise? Here, friends, they'll say. Here are two sisters who rescued their father's royal house. They faced a triumphant enemy. They risked their lives. They avenged bloody injustice. They deserve our love, deserve our respect. Let them be honored at festivals for their great heart and courage. That's what they'll say. And in life and death, our fame will never fade. Your sister, listen. Take up our father's cause. Take up our brother's. Free me. Free yourself. Free us of this disgrace. A life of dishonor dishonors the noble mind.
Be careful, my dears. Caution is best, both for those who speak and those who listen.
Caution? Yes. She would have done well to do so, but she's out of her mind, arming herself in rashness and calling on me to help. You're a woman, Elektra. You're weak. You don't have the strength to fight your enemies. Their fortune grows daily by leaps and bounds, while ours fails, withering away to nothing. Who could plot to kill a man like Aegisthus unscathed? He'll punish us worse than the miseries we suffer already if we are discovered. What good is fame and honor if we end up dead? Even worse than that is to long for death and not be allowed to die. Please, Elektra, before we destroy ourselves and our whole family, reign in your anger. Everything you've said, I'll keep a secret as though you never spoke it. You must learn, however late, to yield to those in power when you are helpless.
Do as she says. Caution and common sense are the best life offers.
I can't say I'm surprised. I knew you'd refuse. All right, I'll do it alone. It can't be left untried.
God, if only your mind had been so set the day Father was murdered, but you did nothing.
Your will was there, just not the understanding.
Then keep that understanding all your life.
This lecture of yours tells me you refuse to help.
Yes, because to act is to court disaster.
I envy your caution. It's your cowardice I hate.
The day will come when
No, sister, that day will never come.
The future's a long time. We'll wait and see.
Get out of here! Out! You're useless to me.
I could be useful. You refuse to learn.
Go, then go tell it to your mother.
No, my dear. How could I hate you so?
Think of the hurt you're doing me, the dishonor.
Hurt? Dishonor? I'm trying to save you.
To be saved, must I accept your view of justice?
Yes, till you come to your senses.
How clever you are. And to be so wrong.
Yes, you describe your problem exactly.
Are you saying I don't have right on my side?
Being right can sometimes bring disaster.
No, I refuse to live by laws like that.
If you do this thing, you'll see I was right.
I will do it. You can't frighten me.
You can't be stopped then. Nothing will change you.
No. There's nothing worse than wrong thinking.
Nothing I say makes an impression on you.
I made up my mind on this long ago.
What more can I say? I'll go. You refuse to learn, and I can't accept your choice of action.
Then go. I won't come trailing after you, however much you wish it. You're chasing illusions. What could be more foolish?
Think yourself right if you must, but when trouble comes, you'll look back on my words, but too late.
Why, like birds of the air who tend with filial love to those who gave them life, do we not do the same?
By Zeus's lightning flash, by Themis dwelling in heaven, such sin will not go unpunished and leave us to suffer disgrace.
O voice that reaches the dead under earth, cry a cry to Atreus' son, a joyless message of dishonor.
Tell him his house's fortunes are ill. Tell him his children are locked in strife. No harmony of former days. Elektra, betrayed, forsaken, braves the storm alone. And Nightingale, alone, lamenting, unafraid of death. She moans her father's loss, ready to lead the light if she can quell those two furies.
Brave child of a noble father, no one nobly born would choose to live with evil, shaming a good name.
But you, child, oh child, you chose honor over all, to live in eternal lament, winning a twofold praise, wisest and best of all daughters.
I pray now to see your light raised as high in wealth and power above your foes, as now you lie low beneath their hands, for I find you here in distress.
And yet, because you honor both bounteous nature's greatest laws and bend in piety to Zeus, your name soars high over all.
Ladies, excuse me, I wonder, were we advised correctly? Are we on the right road?
What road would that be, sir? What are you after?
It's a Jesus house I'm after. We've been looking all over.
And you can't blame your guide. Sit.
Would one of you tell those inside that the ones long awaited for have arrived?
This lady here is nursing blood. She'll do it.
Dear lady, if you be so kind, go tell Aegisthus he has visitors from Focus with news.
No, what are you bringing? Proof of the story we've just heard?
What story would that be? Old Strophius sent me with news of Orestes.
What news? God, I'm so afraid.
He's dead. There, you see the urn he is carrying? That urn holds all that there is.
Oh no, then it's true. See in those hands the weight of all my misery.
If your tears are for Orestes, all that's left of him is in this urn.
Sir, give them to me, please. Let me hold him. His ashes, if he's really here, let me weep my lament for him. For me. For my whole family.
Bring a jerk, ladies. Let her hold it. Whoever she is, she once left him. Find nowhere relevant.
Memorial of him whom I love best. Dearest Orestes, see what is left of you now. Only this. different from him I once sent away in hope do I receive you. This nothingness in my hands. You who were once full of bright promise when I sent you off. I wish I had breathed my last before sending you away. Away to a foreign land, these hands stealing you from danger. So you could have died that very day your father died and shared your portion of his grave. But now, in exile far from home and country, you suffered a miserable death. Without a sister to wash and anoint your body with loving hands and lift you from the flames as custom demands. Poor unfortunate child, tended by hands of strangers, now come home a tiny weight of dust in a tiny vessel. Orestes! All the days I nursed you in loving toil in vain, all wasted. You who were never your mother's darling quite as much as mine. I alone in all the house nursed you day after day. You called me sister. But now all that has vanished in a day. For you are dead, and your death, like a whirlwind, sweeps all before it. Father is in his grave, and I am dead, and you are dead. Yes, and our foes exult. That mother who is no mother rages in mad rejoicing. The one you often sent me secret messages about, that you would come one day and avenge. But evil fortune, yours and mine together, has stolen it all away. And sent you to me not in the form I loved, but ashes, dust, and a powerless shadow. Orestes! Oh, ravaged form! Oh, dreadful, dreadful the road you travel. You have undone me, Orestes. Undone by your death, the dearest brother. Take me with you. Take me into this shelter, I who am nothing. Nothing into nothingness, to live beside you in the world below forever. In life we shared equal fortune. In death the same, not to be parted. Sharing one grave. I know now the dead are free of pain.
Dear Elektra, your father was only human, and being human mortal, as was Orestes. You really must grieve less. Death is a debt that all must pay.
Ladies, oh God. God, what can I say? There are no words, but how can I not speak?
What is it, sir? I don't understand.
Is this the noble Elektra I see?
It is. It is, and a pitiable sight, too.
God, can misery be so great?
Who are you sorry for, sir? For me?
So cruelly dishonored, so abused by the gods.
Your blasphemy describes me well.
Life of misery, no husband, a slave.
Why are you staring? Why this pity?
How ignorant I've been of my own misery.
What have I said to make you see this?
Seeing you clothed in so much sorrow.
You see only the fringes of my misery.
Can there be worse than what I see?
Living there, in the house with the murderers.
What murderers? Who was murdered?
My father's murderers made me their slave.
Who forced you to this?
They call her my mother, but no mother to me.
How does she treat you? With violence? Hardship?
Violence, hardship, every evil.
And there's no one to help, no one to stop her.
No one now. You've brought me his ashes.
Poor girl, how I pity you.
Pity! And you're the only one.
Yes, to share your pain.
Surely you can't be a distant relative.
Is this woman loyal? So I can speak.
Loyal. Oh yes, no betrayal here.
Give me the urn. I'll tell you everything.
No, I beg of you, don't.
Listen to me. No, I can't let you keep
Please
it.
don't take it. It's all I love.
You mustn't say that. You've no reason to mourn him.
My brother dead, no reason to mourn him.
No need to speak of him that way.
Does even my dead brother dishonor me?
Dishonor? No. Mourning's not for you.
It is. His body, his ashes.
No, not his ashes. A lie.
Where is he buried, my poor Orestes?
Buried? Nowhere. We don't bury the living.
Boy, what are you saying?
Only the truth.
Alive? He's alive?
As surely as I am.
You? Is it you?
Look, Elektra. Father's ring and seal.
My dear, my light, my darling.
Oh, my dear sister.
Dear boy, you've come home to me.
Home. Yes.
Oh, let me hold you.
Oh, forever.
Women, friends, here is Orestes. His death was a trick, and now that trick gives him life.
We see him, child, and tears of joy stream from our eyes at your happiness.
Child of the Father I loved above all, you have come. Come here, seen her, you have found her, your heart so longed for.
Here now, dear sister, but we must wait.
Why? Why?
No one inside must hear.
By Artemis Virgin, no, I will never stoop. Never again for the women useless in their burdens to the earth.
Women have warlike spirits too, as you should know.
Oh, Tutor, your words again. My evil sorrow cannot be washed away, never forgotten.
I'm here now, but we must wait until the time is right.
Time, oh, each moment of time is right to cry out my complaint. For now, only now is my tongue set free.
And you must guard that freedom.
Guard it. How?
By not speaking until the time is right.
But you are here now, returned. How can I not speak? Shout now. When beyond all hope, all thought I see you. See you here.
I came with the God's direction.
If a God led you home, that is a grace greater than the first, greater than all you said before. I see in this the work of a God.
Dear sister, there's danger in too much joy.
Oh, Orestes, dearest brother, return to me now after all the years. At last, my blessing, my joy. Now that you have seen my sorrow, do not.
What should I not?
Rob me of comfort the sight of you, of your dear face.
I'll kill the man who dares.
You will.
I will.
Women, friends, I have heard a voice I never hoped to hear. No silence could have held my joy. How could I hear and not rejoice? But I have you. I have you now, sweet, sweet face of light. Face never forgotten, even in sorrow.
No more words now, Elektra. Later it's time for you to tell me of mother's crimes, or how Aegisthus drains us dry, squanders our father's wealth with wild extravagance. Oh, there's too much to tell. Time is running out. We have to act and fast. Tell me what I need to know. Are we to lie in ambush, or attack openly those mocking enemies in there? As Pallades and I have gone inside, it's for you to deceive our mother. Hide your smiles, or she'll suspect what we're up to. Weep hot tears of mourning for my death, as though they were true. The time for smiles will come when we are the victors.
Dearest Orestes, I'll do anything you say. You've brought me all the happiness I know. I would never hurt you, not for all the world. Why insult the God who's with us now? You know how matters stand. Aegisthus is out. Mother's there inside, and no, she'll never see a smile on my face. My hatred for her is steeped in me too deeply. The tears in my eyes that will never stop are tears of joy at seeing you again. How could they stop when in a single hour you've come home twice, first dead, then alive? Orestes, it's so strange. Father appeared alive in front of me just now. I never questioned he were really here and not a ghost. But now that you have come, I'll do anything you say. If I were alone now, I would have won one of two things: a noble defense for myself or a noble death.
Shh, someone's coming. There, at the door.
Gentlemen, in with you, into the house. What you bring is not a gift they will welcome, yet they can't refuse it.
Silly fools! Imbeciles, are you mad? Are Are you so tired of living? Or have you lost what little sense you had? You're not on the brink of danger, lads. You're in it up to your necks. If I hadn't guarded the gates, or your plans to be in now, you're still out here. Thank me for that. Stop all this speech making and cries and shouts. And get inside now. Delay at a time like this is fatal. Now's the time. Act. Get a move on.
What will I find inside there?
No one will recognize you.
Told them I'm dead?
To them, you're dead and gone.
You're pleased. What are they saying?
That can wait. As for now, things are as good or bad as need be.
Who is this man?
Don't you know?
Can't even guess.
The man we once gave you to.
What man? What are you saying?
The man who long ago took me to focus. To safety, as you planned.
The only friend I had. The only being I trusted when father was murdered.
Same, no more questions now.
Dearest day, dearest of men. Dear and only preserver of our father's house, would you come back at last? You who have delivered him and me from all our troubles. Dear hands, dear feet, the help they gave us. Oh, to have been here so long and not have told me. Me not to have known, not to have recognized you. Your story, your dreadful false story broke my heart and almost killed me while all along in your heart, your dear true heart. You brought me what I most wanted, most longed to hear. Dear father, welcome, father. For that's how I see you. Welcome. Welcome, you are the man of all men. My most hated and loved on a single day.
It's not the time for words, Elektra. Not now. There'll be many days and nights to come for you to hear the story of all that has happened. But now, Orestes, and you, ladies, the time has come to act. The queen is alone. None of her soldiers near her. And if you delay, there'll be an army of guards for you to fight more numerous and more clever.
Time to go inside, ladies. And as we go, let us honor the house of my father's God, whose altars these are.
Hermes
away from the house.
Hey, my friends! Friends in this house! Murderers! All murderers!
Right! Inside, you hear, friends?
Jesus, where are you? Where?
Right! Try again!
Oh, child! Pity your mother! Pity!
Where was yours for him? Where was yours for father?
Oh, city, wretched house! Your terrible thing dying at last! You're drunk!
Strike her again! Again! The same, Brother Jesus! The same! The same!
The curse is our work. The dead come alive. Now the killer's blood flows. The dead drink deeply the slayer's blood.
Look! There!
Look, his hand.
Blood!
Like tribute sacrifice to Ares!
Ares, war god. Ares, who can blame them?
Not I!
Not I.
Orestes, tell me.
The house is in order if Apollo prophesies well.
Is she dead? Is the wretch dead?
Your mother's arrogance will never dishonor you.
Stop! I see a Jesus.
Where?
Hurry!
Where do you see him?
Coming down the street, puffed with pride.
Hurry. Hurry back into the house. Let one success lead to the next.
Trust us. We're ready.
Go back, hurry!
We're going.
Leave all the rest to me.
Read him gently. Soft words in his ear. Lure him. Lure him without his knowing to his contest with justice.
Where are these strangers from Focus? I'm told they've come with news of Orestes' death, and the wreck of his chariot. You, Elektra. I'm asking you. Yes, you. Where's the old boldness now? I think it's you this news mostly affects. Your brother? You're the likeliest to know, then tell me.
How could I not? My brother, the one I love most in all the world.
Then answer me, where are these strangers?
Inside, where they have disarmed their hostess.
And their story? Is it true? Is he dead?
They've brought it the proof, not only hearsay.
I can see the corpse then with my own eyes.
See it? Yes, not a pretty sight.
Words from you at last. Give me pleasure.
Feel all the pleasure you like if it pleases you.
Silence. Open the doors. Let all of Mycenaean Argus see. And if there are any fools among the lot of you buoyed up by empty hopes regarding this man, the sight of his corpse, teach them to take my bit, accept my yoke, and forestall the need for a whip.
My lesson learned, I need no teaching to tell me not to fight against what I cannot change.
The wrath of the gods, no other, destroyed this thing. Righteous retribution. Cover the face. This was a kinsman. I must honor my dead.
Lift the veil yourself. It's not for me, but you, to show these signs of love and duty.
Yes, you're right. I will. You, call Clytemnestra if she's in the palace.
She's near you now. No need to look.
What is this sight?
Afraid? Take a good look.
You. Who are you? What is this trap I've fallen into?
The one you thought dead is alive again.
Orestes? Orestes. I understand.
So good at guessing. Deceived so long.
My death is near. let me say one word.
No! Not a word. No, brother. No more talking. Kill him now. Throw his body out to the beasts who will give a man like him proper burial. Out of our sight. Only that will release me from all the evil pains and miseries I have suffered.
Inside, now. The time for words is past. Only your death can resolve the account between us.
Why inside? If this deed of yours is just, why hide it in the dark? Kill me here!
Don't order me! Go in there and die in the same place that you killed my father.
Is it the fate of this ancient house of Pelops to see its sorrows repeated until the end of time?
It will see yours at least, and that I am a prophet.
The skill you boast of was not your father's strength.
All you do is talk. Go in, it's time.
After you,
You first.
in case I escape.
No. So you'll choose an easier death. I intend to see you suffer a bitter end. If the same fate fell on all such men who rise above the law, death with justice, there would be less evil in the world.